the head coach of Washington Huskies football, Chris Peterson, here on the program. How are you, Coach?
I'm good, Rich. How are you?
I am fine. What do you do with kids getting ready for a football season, just mere weeks before it all starts? Where are you right now in the preparation process?
We're right in the middle of the fall camp, and we don't have two-a-days anymore. The NCAA took that away, but we really hadn't done two-a-days for the last couple years anyways. But the days are still very long. The kids get here in the morning and they don't leave until the evening time with all of our meetings and film and all those things. And so we're just installing our systems, and it's a long, hard process, and we're about halfway through it.
Okay. Now let's talk about, kids that are returning. Your quarterback, my longtime buddy and compadre Marshall Faulk looked at your quarterback, Jake Browning, last year. Out of all of them, I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this because you're on the program, but you are on the program, so I'll tell you, he thought he was the one with the most talent for the next level out of anybody, and that would have been for even last year's draft too. Coach, what do you say when you hear that?
Well, we're proud of Jake for sure. He's such a football guy. And there's nobody that really studies the game harder. Really in my years of coaching, you always have a handful of guys that were just so focused and so driven on the football thing in terms of how their preparation would be, whether it's in the season, out of season, fall camp, whatever it is. And he's one of those guys. He understands a lot of football. He really enjoys playing the game. And so, all the next level stuff, that's a little bit hard for me to know. I just know the players that we're looking for who are really good players for us that have done so much for our program, and that's Jake Browning.
Well, to what would you attribute some of the statistical drop-off that he suffered last year, Coach?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with our emphasis on offense. We always talk about just playing to our strengths, whether it's for the whole season, whether it's for a game. If we can't, throw the ball like we'd like to, then we're going to run it more. If we can't run the ball, then we're going to throw it more. We'd love to stay balanced like most coaches would. And we kind of go from there. The year before, I know we threw, a handful, quite a few touchdowns kind of in that tight red zone area. And this past year, we kind of selected to run the ball a little bit more. And so there's always like a bunch of different reasons. And so, I think that's what it is. Everybody wants to attribute it to the quarterback, and he didn't play, like he was supposed to, and expectations get out of whack and all those things. And it really wasn't that. I think it wasn't all Jake for sure. But we'd like to be a little more explosive in the pass game, for us to be able to take the next step. And so we're working hard on that.
Well, obviously it's tempting to run the ball when you have a kid like Myles Gaskin at your disposal.
No question,
Coach.
That's exactly right. You start throwing it more, and you're going, we got this guy in the backfield that, he needs to get the ball a lot. And so, you're trying to figure that out, like I said, game by game and week by week, and what the best thing is to score points. And, we kind of figure it out as we go.
Chris Peterson, head coach of Washington Huskies football, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Against Auburn right out of the gate. That is scheduled, one would think, because you need to get something like that in the win column for later on in the year when you're trying to get into a 14 playoff. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I don't really know. Our AD told me that's who you're playing. And I'm like, huh? So, we just play who they put in front of us. And, a lot of times these games are scheduled out, a couple years in advance, and you never know how they're going to be. And it just so happens that, Auburn's got a heck of a squad. I mean, they really do. All the guys that got coming back, and what they did last year. I mean, they beat the two teams that played in the national championship. It's just, they could have easily been in the national championship. They really could have. And they got that team coming back. So there's no doubt we got our hands full right from the start. I think all coaches like to have a game under their belt, to kind of, work out all the kinks that there always are in that first game, but that's not how it is, so we better be ready to go.
Well, I guess part of the reason why I'm bringing it up, I'll just go straight to the question then instead of just cutting around the edges. Auburn lost to UCF, and I would have loved to have seen UCF play in a playoff game. I would love to see 8 teams play in a playoff game. What is your philosophy on that?
I think everybody would like more teams in the playoff. No question about it. I mean, and you're going to always have that debate. You put 8 in. Well, then, why didn't 9 get in? But still, it would be just so intriguing, and I think everybody would love that. Now, that being said, that's easier said than done with the school year, with finals, with how many games these kids are playing anyways. You're going to take a game away in the regular season, and you probably could do that with all the money that would go in, TV, all those type of things from a playoff system, and just so, the powers that be would have to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to just see some more uniformity if we can, certainly in a schedule. Like, you're not playing USC this year. And then there's a Pac-12 championship game that I'd love to take those championship games and just throw those out and add a playoff game. If let's go, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I think most coaches would like to see more, more teams in the playoff, and that would be fun. But it's so hard. Like, you think about the NFL, they got the system. There's 32 teams, and they know exactly, and it's all even. Everybody has the same preseason games. Everybody has the same, division games. Half of us play an extra league game compared to some other conferences. There's just so much more subjectivity in this whole thing. And that's why I think it's even more critical to widen that playoff, the tournament, because who knows if you're getting the right guys in, especially when it's only 4.
Washington head coach Chris Peterson here. It's funny you say thinking, when you think of the NFL, a lot of people think that the NFL thinks of you, Coach. Do you get phone calls from the NFL to join?
Well, no, not. I mean, not really. I've coached in college for a long time, and that's kind of what I do. And we appreciate the NFL, we really do. We learn a lot from them, but we really like the college game.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the NFL, it seems that the NFL's taking stuff from the college game. Do you find more NFL people picking your brain for the next level?
There's always dialogue back and forth for sure. I think it's interesting that there is, I think there is more dialogue. I think in the past, there was such a trickle down from the NFL, and I still say there always is that, in terms of what's going on, and you'll feel that maybe a couple years later, whether it's certain blitzes, certain schemes. But I think with the college game continuing to evolve with all the run path, the RPOs and the zone read and spread type stuff, I think you see a little bit more back and forth with the NFL. The other thing that I see is the tackling thing, because the targeting thing has been such a big thing for us, and our guys get thrown out of the games. We've been working on this for, 6-7 years now of really, trying to take the head out of the game and be a shoulder tackling team. And so now I'm seeing, the preseason games were more flags and all those type of things, but that's just where the game's headed. And I really feel like we've been working on this for a long, long time of trying to take the head out anyways. And so there's more dialogue, in terms of those type of things as well.
Couple more minutes with Chris Peterson, Washington head coach here on the Rich Eisen Show. Couldn't help but notice you had Ryan Leaf in to talk to the team, a Cougar, but nonetheless he has a lot that has happened with him, to him, and has a lot that for him to impart. We had him on our show just a couple weeks ago. Why did you have him in to talk to your team?
Well, first of all, it was awesome, unbelievable talk. We talk about one of the things I love about the college game is, we're trying to develop and recruit the best players we can find, and hopefully put those guys into the NFL. But that's really only half of our mission around here. The other half is really helping these kids continue to evolve and mature and figure out how to do life. And I mean that sincerely. I mean, that's really a passion of mine of, talking about these life skills and the traps that we can fall into with money, with fame, with social media, with women, with drugs and alcohol, all those things. So we spend a lot of time talking about those things, a lot of time. And we'll bring in different speakers that I think can tie into what we're all about here. And Ryan was phenomenal. I mean, he connected to our team. He was so passionate about, you could feel like the things that he'd been through, and that he's really passionate about helping guys not, go down that same path. And it was a powerful message, and I really appreciated him coming in here and talking to our team, because I think our team got a lot out of it.
Well, I'm wondering if he mentioned Tyler Helinski at all to your team. He did?
It did. It came up. It was part of it. It's all kind of part of that whole thing, and our mindset getting off. And I mean, we could talk for a long time. We talked to our team for over an hour, but that was part of the conversation. And these are just such huge. I mean, all this stuff to me is so much more important than just football. And we need to be talking about all these things as coaches. I mean, we can play good football, and football's as important to me as it is to anybody in this building. But if we're just all about football here, I think we're cheating ourselves, and we're cheating these kids. That's not what this experience is just about, just football. There's so much more. And, part of that, we're seeing more and more depression and anxiety in these young kids, and not only in young kids, but in adults as well. And so why is that? I mean, it's just such an intriguing thing to me. Like, why are we seeing that? And so, I talk to the experts here on our campus at Washington, trying to get more information and figure out how to help our guys.
And then, you're just seeing everything that's going on. You're kind of like a CEO here, right? I mean, when I say things that are going on, you're seeing what's going on with Ohio State. Why didn't Urban Meyer know this? Why didn't you know that? Do you go around to your staff to see if there's anything going on that you just look people in the eye and say, is there anything I need to know? I mean, how do you go through all of that, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, we talk to our kids so often, about, just the right thing to do. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And, people are, they're human beings. There's going to be mistakes made. But it's something that we talk about and emphasize all the time with our kids. But I always say that it always starts with us. It starts with me, just trying to make good decisions every single day. And so that's one of the reasons I really appreciate talking to our guys about this stuff, because when I'm talking to them, I'm talking to myself. And then I'm talking to our staff. And we all need to hold each other accountable and stay focused on them, on the right things. And it's very easy to get off track, and so it's something that needs to be talked about, 24/7.
Sure, and at the very least, have fun too. I mean, it's a game.
Absolutely.
You guys are playing. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of the things that we talk to our guys about. That we work so hard; it's so important to us. We're so focused. It almost feels like practice reps are life and death. And it's like, hold on here. We get this thing out of whack, and we lose perspective of the whole thing. It's I have days where I'm like, did I used to like football one day? I mean, when did I lose track of liking this thing? And so we, even through the hard times, we need to be able to smile and laugh and support each other. But we need to enjoy this process, or we shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to look around and take it all in. You're from Yuba City, right? And
that's right.
Played in UC Davis. I did my first TV job in Redding, California. Beautiful part of the North State there. Sometimes just stop and smell the roses. Sometimes
that's right. No question.
And we did notice, last thing for you, on your Twitter feed, occasionally you tweet out the word woof, just a bark from your Twitter feed. And I think I know what those are in relation to. They seem to match up with times that somebody gets signed on your squad, a commitment. Is that accurate?
Well,
Coach?
It means something's probably happening good in the recruiting process. That's probably all I can say. Or I
don't want to get you in trouble. No, I don't want to get you in trouble. We just noticed big barks coming out from the Pacific Northwest.
That's right.
On occasion. Coach, thanks again. Good luck to your team, and let's chat throughout the season.
Sounds good, Rich. Appreciate
that. At Coach Pete UW to check on the Wolves and more from the Huskies football program right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.